Guys,
an hour full of just beautifulness.
Yes, it was. It was
kind of a pretty good.
Yeah, we had a good flow going.
Just
you guys should have heard it.
Remember exactly what you said. We're going to start all over.
Exactly.
Do it right now.
So, Gary, will you like to introduce our guest?
I don't even know who he is.
Right.
I forgot everything. Krimson, CK3, Ring-a-Ding Kid, Frank Snatch. What is up?
Bam.
How are you?
And
I'm
he
good.
runs
Good
a
to be
wrestling
here
school
again.
What? Right. What's a wrestling school name?
Skull and Bones Pro Wrestling and Fitness.
High quality production right
Exactly. And then Travis
McInire, Source Point Press, editor-in-chief.
Exactly.
Yep.
And CEO.
And
And
CEO
yes.
and
Media.
writer.
Yes, we're talking about comic books. I'm all jazzed up right now.
I am too.
Yeah, because we're trying to. We're and the technical difficulty was
jazzed up
was
the last
Gary.
40 minutes.
right. Yeah, it was
I
Gary.
used up all my jazz.
I was the
Right,
technical difficulty, folks.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the wrestling school.
Sure.
We're going to talk about comics, how you got started, and all that stuff. Would you like to talk about the wrestling school and why you started it?
Sure. It's called Skull and Bones Pro Wrestling and Fitness.
In Toledo, Ohio.
In Toledo, Ohio. We train pro wrestlers, and we also do what's called Savage Sessions, which is kind of a personal training, throw stuff, swing stuff, hit stuff, lift stuff. The reason I got into training people is a vow of poverty.
Right. Well, actually,
after being in pro wrestling for 20 years.
right.
That's usually what people say
That's
about
how I
comic
got
books.
into comics.
Exactly. See, that's
It
from A
just
to B.
intertwines right there. But no, actually, I
This
remember.
guy got into promoting cons.
Right. And
Con, then wrestling.
I'm
Terry's
just
over here like, I got into pro wrestling. It worked out great.
right. So no, but I
1 out of
actually
4.
right. I
It all
remember
evens out.
right. I remember, but my personal life is in shambles. Right. No, but I remember training with you. We
Right.
did a seminar up in the UP in Escanaba. And I'll never forget. I'm watching you train, and I'm getting paid for it, right? I'm like, hey, you just want to help me out, right? It's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So CK, some guys have that gift, kind of like in the comic book world and all that stuff. If you have a gift, it really shines. And I'm like, you've got to definitely open up a school sometime. And I really encouraged him to. And
He did. I remember that.
right.
Yeah.
And he got a new ring. It's great. It's a really nice facility and all that stuff. And I'll stop in there time to time. And who else stops in there from Impact Wrestling?
We got Trey Miguel, who is part of 1/3 of the Rascals, who is also I was the first person to train Trey.
Right. And he's great success. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a great wrestler. Yeah,
He's
really
killing
enjoy
it.
him.
Yeah.
He's killing it. I taught him how to do all those flips
Right.
and all the top rope stuff. That's all me.
Yep.
By the way, you're welcome for the gore.
Oh, anytime, brother. Anytime.
I'm glad it took you so far.
Thank you. Don't try to get any money out of me.
Wonderful.
Right.
That's
Is that like in the comic book? Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
thanks for the
yes.
idea, but I'm not going to give you any money.
Yeah, very common.
Wait a minute, we're not getting paid for this?
Exposure.
Yeah, you're getting paid. The check's in the mail.
Yeah.
Right, Gary? Look for Gary and
Yeah,
Terry's
Gary and Terry's Low Expectations podcast. Check.
Yeah.
Which
Which,
have a bounce.
if you just add Gmail to the end of that, you will have our email address.
Pretty
which
much.
is a wonderful
Worst
email.
address I've
Right,
ever
right.
heard in my life.
That's
It's a bit of a tongue
easy.
twister.
yeah.
Terry and Gary Low Expectations at gmail.com.
It's
Gary
not
and Terry or
podcast.
Terry
No.
and Gary.
No,
Okay.
that was just too long.
Right. Terry and Gary's Low Expectation.
Why stop
At
there?
Gmail.
Just the podcast.
I ran out of characters. They only
Right.
allow you so many characters.
Really?
and an
I
email
was
address.
trying to put more in there.
Right. We really wanted to get the whole
Terry
thing
and
in
Gary's
there.
Low Expectation podcast. What a podcast is, it's kind of like radio, but we record it and then you can look it up later at gmail.com.
Except sometimes we don't.
Except
Right.
we don't.
Sometimes we
Except
don't
we
record
don't
it.
record it,
Right.
and we just trying to hurry
Ba-dum-bum.
these interviews along because we missed the really
This
good
might be the
ones.
greatest interview ever. So
Yeah,
just calm down,
I
guys.
think this is
It's gonna
going a
go-
lot better than the other one.
Travis McInire, Source
Right.
Point Press, editor-in-chief, guru, champion. What do you got? What do you do?
And how did you get started?
Well, I got started by I started off. I wanted to be a writer. I got my first book was picked up by Caliber Comics, which is owned by Gary Reed, who
Great
Gary
Reed.
here knows. Passed a few years ago. He really took me under his wing, and through the course of kind of working with him a lot, and I discovered that, I was actually a lot better at editing and project managing and kind of shuffling.
You found your niche.
Yeah, I found the thing I was really good at.
Right.
And so, Gary helped me. I found the right people, the right partners, and we put a company together. And now 7 years later, it's
Yeah.
kind of a big multimedia thing. And we've got a movie and a cartoon. And all
Do you find yourself helping other people out, kind of like how Gary took you under his wing? You take other
I
people.
do not pass it along at all. I try to keep them. No,
Right.
Keep them down.
try to keep
just
them down.
thumb on
as
'em.
Keep that
far
thumb
as
on them,
possible.
or that fat finger
No,
on the
man.
recording.
Fat finger on the recording.
We are
We are
recording,
recording,
right?
right? Okay, yeah.
And especially, absolutely, man. Especially for, especially for like Midwestern people. You know, we're the largest publisher of comics and graphic novels in the Midwest.
Right.
You know, we're distributed all over the world, and we still work with mostly artists and writers who are from this region.
Right, right.
From Ohio, Illinois, Indiana,
Right.
Michigan,
Pennsylvania,
you know?
you get right around there.
Pennsylvania. I mean, we still pretty much.
And you do have board games too, right?
We
Yeah.
have a board game company, Deepwater Games. We do tabletop games.
Yeah.
We've got a couple that we're Welcome To, for instance, was a pretty big hit. You can
Nice.
find our games on the shelves at stores like Barnes and Noble, and
Right.
you know.
Now, some apps too. You have some apps, or some of those board games went to apps or
Yep,
something.
there's
We were
a
talking
Welcome
about
To
that.
app, and we have two others that are sort of in development right
Nice,
now.
nice.
The app game is one that we're just starting to kind of get into. As it turns out, there's actually quite a bit of overhead cost on some of that stuff. So,
Yeah.
For the board game, or the app?
well, for both.
For both.
Board games honestly have like an incredibly high activation energy and activation cost.
Yeah.
To get
Yeah, I actually created an app. It's called Don't Look at Your Window, Look at This App, because I'm looking in your window at you like a creeper. Yeah. Okay,
guys
that
are-
joke didn't really go over well.
You
I
guys
should have
are-
made fun of
Just go back to making fun of him.
Right.
Let's talk about the
I was
caramel
gonna
and
say,
butter.
well,
You guys are so good at naming things.
I was about to say that. I was like, yeah, with that podcast email.
We're gonna hire a name.
I've got this app. It's called Look at Your Phone, Don't Look at Your Window, because I'm looking at you right now because I'm a creeper.
.com.
That's actually
.com.
not bad. Yeah. The way you delivered it.
Yeah, I was terrible at it.
he's the
The
Yeah.
way
promo
you
king.
threw it out there kind of
Well, it's
hurt.
because I live it.
Right.
And it's so
Thanks for
weird. Like
switching the
you
heat.
came in like you're most known.
Yeah.
Rhino, gore, very simple.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
makes sense.
Even a
Yeah.
song.
Big guy.
Because someone else
Knock
gave me
people
those
over.
names. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. So if I would have came up with it, we would have already still been introduced. We would have still been introduced.
Hi, I'm Rhino. I'm not really an animal, but I'm kind of an animal,
Yeah,
so I'm
on
gonna
this
be
new
a
podcast. Yeah.
Score.
Right.
I would be a rhino, but my skin is not quite as thick.
I wanted to be giraffe, but I was already
I
taken.
moisturize a lot.
You
Yeah,
moisturize
that's
a lot.
really
You do
thick.
moisturize. Your skin is so soft.
I do. It is. Actually, someone complimented me the other day.
No, it wasn't just me saying
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Exactly.
Who did? I've never
well,
heard the story.
Well,
Who did?
we're at a
If you don't
show
mind.
in. We're at a Reckless Youth was the one that actually came up. He was an independent wrestler, and he told D'Lo Brown. D'Lo came over and told me, and then we were at a show in Detroit, and the lights were out. Edge, Christian, Joe Legend, they were all there too, and all I hear is someone because the lights were out. It was a night show, and they actually ran lights just for the ring on a generator, and the show went on. So very 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 pro wrestling indie like. So yeah, and
Low expectations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We're the king of
But,
low
yeah,
expectations.
so that's
Low
kinda how
expectations
that
king
came.
here.
Right. And then Paul Heyman gave me the name Gore, or well, he had Joey Styles say that when I would hit the spear in ECW. So yeah, there it is. So
All right, we still got like a few minutes to fill. So
Right.
Let's talk to Krimson.
Crimson.
Crimson.
Yes, the embodiment of evil.
Right.
You just don't seem evil.
No, he doesn't. Especially
I've
if
got
you.
so many jokes here.
Right.
Trying to keep it PC.
Yeah, PC. so.
G-rated.
Yeah.
G-rated.
G-rated.
Disney. Think
Exactly.
Disney.
Exactly. Think right.
And that G stands for gore.
Right, there you go.
Right?
Thank you.
Gary.
Yeah, or Gary.
Oh,
Yeah.
what have
It's
I
like
done with my life?
Gary.
Gary. I mean,
I have G's too.
Right? Everybody has G's.
everybody has G's.
Yeah, except me and my bank account. There's no
So,
G's.
there's no G's in there.
Yeah, right.
So let's talk about this. I think I've heard somewhere before that you did a butter and caramel diet.
Yeah.
That does
As a
sound
kid.
familiar.
It does.
Right,
It's
right.
a little
Sounds
birdie told
very
me.
familiar.
Still turning my stomach.
Yeah.
Right,
No.
right.
Yeah. No. It's called the Elvis Cleanse.
Yeah.
And it's what you do is it's sticks of butter
Sticks
or
of-
margarine,
Right.
frozen, dipped in
Warmed up caramel.
warm up caramel,
Right.
and there you go.
Before you know it, you'll be in elastic jeans.
Yes.
Yes. So,
I laugh
Supposed
because I've
to,
heard
you
this
know,
story before.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys missed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If,
We
you,
had a
if
heck of a-
only those listening could have been here like
Right.
20 minutes ago.
Right.
The show was gangbusters.
We need to do this stuff
Exactly.
live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So do you? So the butter is something that you're eating. It's not just like a caramel conveyance.
I mean, I guess you could eat it too, but I was
tooth.
going anyway.
Frozen.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's
you're
like
putting
a
it in
lollipop.
hot caramel, isn't it? Sort of like you're getting
Melted.
like this
Yeah,
buttery
yeah.
caramel
I just
melt.
see his hands just full of caramel and butter.
I just see his heart stopping.
start stopping like a chop.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
man.
Where'd you get
Have
that?
you ever got a chop that stopped your heart
all
before?
that talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
chops. And
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
I know.
Man, all
Yeah.
that,
We'll just
I
fast
had a whole
forward.
awesome thing about how wrestling and comics are
we-
similar.
Right.
We got, man,
We got
We
made-
made parallels. We were
I'm
good
really
guests.
We
disappointed.
got 9 more minutes of Crimson. So
We
let's
do.
We made
do.
parallels.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. What are we talking about here?
Chops.
We were
Let's talk
talking
chops.
about chops. Yes. Well, can you explain how you were chopped for the first time?
Yeah. So a friend of mine, he's in his 50s now, so he's kind of retired from doing anything, but he used to do independent circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at Cincinnati Comic Expo, at kind of bowling around, and
Was this guy's name Dave?
his name is Dave.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and I said, hey, you should chop me. I want to know what that feels like. And he's like, it hurts quite a bit. Are you sure? And I was like, yeah, sure. Now, Dave is also probably at his height of physical fitness was 320 pounds.
Nice.
And now he's like 410 pounds. He's
Okay.
a very big boy. And
So
so,
he's
you
got
know,
some weight behind
I
that
stripped
chop.
my shirt off, and he gives me like a
Knife
Boom.
edge chop.
knife edge chop, like
Right
a,
to the
a
chest.
woo type
Yeah.
chop. And
Nice.
it made it like a big loud smack sound, and it hurt, dude.
Right, right.
I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
that stings really good.
Right.
And then he was like, oh, that's not even as hard as I would do it in the
Yeah,
ring.
yeah.
That was like half speed. But
Right.
I think he was BSing.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
either way,
no.
it really hurt. Yeah.
There's no joke.
Yeah, like the
joke.
Big Show, we were talking about it. The podcast that wasn't recorded just
Earlier.
earlier.
Practice.
Right, practice. But the Big Show's chop comes. He goes overhead, and I told Big Show, chop me evenly. The first one's going to stop my heart. The second one's going to start it again. And he kind of chuckled, and he goes, "Okay, I'll make sure I do even amount of chops." So.
Turn me back on.
Right.
It's probably
Right.
true, though.
Yeah, it is true.
I mean,
Yeah.
A good chop.
Yeah, and then a student I had in the ring not too long ago, he actually helps me out at the marina. So I just wanted to wake him up to the wrestling business. So I gave him a couple chops in there, and he tried to get away, but I pushed him back in the corner, and I kept on asking the fans if they wanted me to chop him again. Of course, they're going to say yes. So they're
You always know the
bloodthirsty
the
creatures.
response before
Exactly,
you ask.
exactly.
You want me to hit him
I'm like,
again?
Right. Don't leave this corner just yet. Put him back in the corner. Made sure he wouldn't leave, and there you go.
It'd be
So-
great if they were just like, nah, he's good. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah, right.
No,
right.
crickets.
Not worth it.
Yeah. We feel bad for the guy. So.
Leave him alone. Why are you being so mean to him?
Yeah. So,
And then
In this day and age,
you never know.
We're not far off.
You never
exactly. So now with comic books, did you start off with comics and then did you segue into the other stuff, or was there something else that started?
No, we
because
started
you're a
off,
pretty big company.
Yeah, we started off with basically just comics, and we had no distribution or anything like that, and we were just kind of doing our own stuff.
Right.
And we treated it like a punk rock band or like a wrestling.
Yeah,
promotion.
indie. Yeah.
We toured, we did shows, we put our product directly in the hands of people until it took about 3 years before we ever got any real distribution.
Right.
And then
Could you feel the momentum?
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely. I mean, even from year 1 to year 2. Plus, we got better at it.
Right.
To whereas now, I have no compunction whatsoever saying that in terms of being a publisher and being at a convention and live selling
Yeah.
to people and putting paper in people's hands and getting them to walk away happy.
Yeah.
There's no one in the industry that's better than us. We're the
Really?
heavyweight champions.
And you guys are everywhere
Nice.
too. You're not just
Yeah.
Midwest. You're
You guys just don't sit
California,
around, yeah.
Boston.
All
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Dude,
who else?
I leave for Ireland on Tuesday.
Nice.
Dublin
Oh.
Comic-Con. I got a
Nice.
team of people at the London Book Fair next week. I got Emerald City next week. I
And-
got Gamma Game.
If Emerald City goes on,
I think it's going to go.
I hope so. Everybody's afraid of that beer flu.
Yeah. Well, what about the? Yeah.
It's one of those.
Well, the people
happens
are
every
really
2
canceling.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about some of the stars you've worked with, and actually, they're really good, like Billy Bob
Oh yeah,
Thornton.
we've got a one of our more popular comics that kind of came out started coming out last year called Franklin and Ghost,
Mm-hmm.
which is a little bit more of an adult-ish comedy. It's got a little bit of a kind of a Deadpool level of humor. If
Right.
you've seen that movie. But we have a cartoon that's in production for that. It's going to be
Nice.
an animated show, and Billy Bob Thornton is playing one of the leads. He's the voice of one of the leads, along with Sean Schemmel is the other lead. He was the voice of Goku from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, and he's really great to work with, I hear.
Oh, Billy?
Yeah.
Dude.
Top-notch guy, right?
It's unbelievable what a nice guy he is.
Yeah,
Like, honestly, he's done a bunch of events for us,
Uh-huh.
and he's just like, it's so weird because he comes across like he's so grateful to you.
Right.
And that's so strange because I want to be like, no, man, like,
You're Billy Bob
Right,
Thornton.
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
coming
Taking
here.
the time and being so
Yeah, but he's so, I
cooperative.
mean, honestly, the only way to, he's just sweet. He's just
Yeah,
a super
yeah.
sweet,
Yeah.
nice guy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we were in New York and he was at a hotel, and he invited us to come to his hotel because we needed to drop out. He was signing some prints.
Right.
So we went there, and he was having dinner. We walk in, like he's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going, guys?" And he sat right there, signed them all. Is there anything else we can do for you? Like, would you be willing to film a promo talking about? Because this was when at New York Comic Con
Right.
last year, where we first announced, like, "Hey, we've got a deal. We're doing an animation," and he right there, like on a phone, like filmed
That's awesome.
cut a promo. Like, I mean, he's just like he's incredibly nice.
Right. Well,
it's
just
weird.
so you know, your relationship with Billy Bob Thornton is nothing like my relationship with Justin. I'm a total jerk to him. He calls me up. He's like, "Hey, can you come down to the school and help the kids out?" I talk about money. I need a car to pick me up. I need all these things.
Like money,
Yeah,
hotel.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Not
exactly.
driving all the way to
Right,
Toledo,
right.
turn around and drive
No,
back.
No, from Monroe. No, that's at 11 exits. No, I need a Marriott. Yeah, come on.
I
Yeah,
love that he
so-
immediately cast himself as the A-list
Right,
guy.
right.
And you're the me guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's pretty much how it goes.
Right. So,
Now
actually,
does-
that's how he treats me. I'm like, Justin. No.
Well, he's the ring-a-ding kid.
Right.
Now does Billy Bob, does he still have that vial of blood from Angelina
You know
around
what?
his
I
neck?
did not ask.
Yeah.
Let's not ruin it.
Yeah, let's not ruin it.
Did not
Yeah.
ask. No.
So.
I
And
mean,
some
you
of those
think
thought it.
You think about it.
You
Yeah.
thought it.
Some,
I'm thinking it right now.
Right. So, why did you want to buy it, or wanted you have it, or what? You know,
Maybe.
Or
maybe.
why,
There you go.
why does he have
I
it?
Krimson,
met,
yeah.
I mean, he's been married for 13 years now.
Okay. Yeah.
And I met his wife. I met his daughter.
Right.
I mean, it's straight. I think he had definitely had some wild years there.
Yeah.
But it's interesting for him because he was a struggling guy until he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's maybe part of why he's
Keeps
so
him humble.
chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is because he wasn't a star in his 20s or anything like that. He was already a grown man.
Right.
He was
By the
actually
time.
in the movie Tombstone in a blink if you miss it
Really?
role. Yeah.
I didn't
He's
even
like
know that.
he's like the Pharaoh dealer that Kurt Russell just paintbrushes and he comes back with a shotgun.
I've always loved that movie because more than anything, I would like to have myself a Sam Elliott and a Bill Paxton to just walk around behind me and be like, "That's right, Travis. So right, Travis," and just support me in anything that I do.
That's awesome. We can kind of be like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would work
Yeah.
perfectly,
Yeah.
actually. You guys
We'll go to all the shows and stuff like
just
that.
got that.
stand
Book our
around,
flight.
stand around
Yeah.
behind me and look
Yeah.
like you're.
That's yeah.
Mustache
Exactly.
is coming out nicely. I can
Right,
get a Sam
right.
Elliott thing going.
Yeah. And I
Oh
can
yeah,
be
for sure.
Kurt Russell, I guess.
Kurt Russell, you
But no,
guys?
I get
Yeah.
to be the Kurt Russell. You're going to be the.
Oh
Bill
yeah,
Paxton.
yeah. Okay.
Well,
see
he's
how
already
I-
taken a.
see-
He's already
see how
taken
I
a
tried to-
limelight.
See how I tried to wedge
I'll be the
myself
Kurt
into
Russell.
the.
He
Yeah,
just took
I'll
the
be
lead
there,
right
yeah,
out from
yeah.
under.
We get it. You were in WWE. We get it. Gore,
You guys
gore,
caught
gore.
that, right?
Gore. So let's talk about some of your personas there, Justin.
Sure. Which
Right.
ones?
Which ones do you like? Do you like
Yeah.
the Ring-a-ding Kid? Do you like?
Well, here's what's
Crimson?
funny
Is
about
he
the
Pedro?
Ring-a-ding Kid, and stop me if you heard it.
Right.
They haven't.
No, the Ring-a-ding Kid was when me and Rhino would be traveling, whatever. You come up with these dumb gimmicks or whatever, and
Mine were great. His was dumb.
yeah. What? Like another one I came up with was Marcolepsy, where like a guy would get to like the top rope about to do a cool move, and then he'd just fall asleep and get pinned.
Right.
Like
right.
stupid stuff like that.
Right.
One of them was, because I'm a big Sinatra fan, was the Ring-a-ding Kid Frank Snatch, who was billed from the Wilted Orchid Casino and Laundry, where you could find him every Thursday night. Not even a Friday night
In
gig.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, Las Vegas Nev.
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 That's it. That's how we would say it. Yeah.
And it was basically him just managing, and I did it as a one-off, as a goof for one of Rhino's charity shows, and then the next day I'm getting messages and, hey, how do I book the Ring a Ding Kid? And I'm like, no, book Krimson. I mean, guys, so this is it's a joke.
Right.
Turns out the joke was on me. It's way more popular than Krimson.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, tell us some of the jokes that you said.
Yeah,
in the
so
promo.
at that time we had Scott Demore, who originally trained me with Joe Legend, and he's
Vic
trained you
Joseph.
too,
Yeah. What's that? Yeah, Vic Joseph.
Yeah, and
is
Vic
now
Joseph from
WWE.
Vic Trivliante is his real name.
And they were doing the announcing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I come out and I'm wearing the fedora. I've got the bow tie undone. I'm carrying a giant silver flask that holds like a gallon of booze. I've got a martini glass, which every time I go to take a drink, I start saying something, I'd spill it. So by the time I actually try to drink something, all the liquid's gone. But Scott Demore at the time had a restaurant, an Italian restaurant in Windsor, and I alluded to the fact that he's mobbed up, quote unquote. He's really not. And I was like, Scotty D, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta be careful what you say to Scotty. Said I asked him what his favorite dish was at his restaurant, and he said broken leg of lamb. Here's what's funny is you guys just heard this. He still thinks it's funny. He's still
right.
It's because it's so bad it gets funny.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
The more you shovel,
Yeah, exactly.
the funnier it gets.
And then Vic Travagliante, I said, Vic Travagliante, ladies and gentlemen, Vic the T, as he's known, because he's shaped like one. Now, you're not going to get that because, again, a visual joke on an audio podcast, he's a very skinny guy. And then I said, Vic, I was like, if you need to use the facilities and you see a sign that says gentlemen, pay no heed and walk right in. For there is no sign that says scoundrel. And which, as I said earlier, in the Far Superior podcast, we already tried to tape crickets, eyes rolling, but the eyes rolling were my applause. And
I kind of like this one. I think this one's going better.
Yeah, it
no,
is.
I'm just kidding. I'm just busting.
So go ahead. What did you say to the one lady?
Oh yeah,
Which was great.
I was like, sweetheart, let me tell you something. I was like, you're not that good looking, and I'm not that desperate. And then I turned around, and put my hand up, like, call me.
Yeah,
Please call me.
So yeah, and then it was funny because I've done several charity shows, and like with IWR on April 23rd,
Insane Wrestling Revolution.
exactly at the FOP, we'll be there. But they shameless plug. We have a lot of people like that'll follow the shows, and that's what had happened with with the charity shows. You do them around Dearborn Heights and Dearborn area. And they actually, a lot of requests for Frank Snatch to come back, the Ring-a-Ding Kid. They're like, is he coming back on your other ones? Oh, he was so great. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So-
who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
if
he's
I
in
buy a
retirement.
razor, he might make a comeback. I'm not
Right,
sure.
right. So he's definitely out in Las Vegas.
Mhm.
Nev.
Just living the dream.
Right,
Living the
right,
dream on Thursdays.
right,
On Thursdays, he gets paid in laundry tokens.
right. So now, would Frank Snatch ever make it to a comic book? Do you think that character would ever make it to a comic book?
Well,
and if he had
certainly a character like that could.
Right, right.
Sorry.
oh no, that's okay.
Certainly a character like that could. I mean, it just all comes down to
Right,
like
like
I think it kind of comes down to what kind of book are you trying to make or what sort
a
of
really
like,
bad
universe.
one.
Kind of like our
I mean,
podcast.
I could see doing a character like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are it
Make me an
what
offer.
What it really comes down to is how much do you want to lean into the wrestling side of it? To
Right,
make a comic
right.
book on,
Right.
right. So like there are WWE comics.
Yeah.
Boom Studios carries that license and makes those comics. And they're not famous for doing super well.
You're right.
But
No, could the Ring-a-Ding Kid be a comic or a comic book character in a different like?
no,
Like
if
outside
you
of
were to
wrestling.
take,
Yeah, outside
if
of
you were to
wrestling.
take the character he's describing,
Right, right,
and be like, look, this guy's job is he's a sports announcer or something, and it was a comic about this guy as if he was playing it straight,
right.
like you're not a man playing a character,
Mm.
because that's what, like wrestling gets as nuts, because like where do you draw the line?
Right.
Where does it stop?
Right, right.
But yeah, I think it's a funny character.
Yeah.
certainly.
It would be great to do that character who's like literally stuck in like the 40, like the Sinatra era,
Yeah.
and he like still says things like broads love it when they call them dames.
Right.
Just horribly un-PC things that.
Yeah,
I think
so
we
like
just
with
lost
a-
our
with
G
a-
rating
with
right
a-
now.
With a comic, you
We
could
got
actually
to-
just put them in that era.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You could make this whole thing could be like a noir rewrite of the Maltese Falcon, except that, instead of being a competent gumshoe, you're an idiot drunk who sort of stumbled into the wrong, it's a
Fellow
comedy of-
American down on his luck.
yeah, it's
Right.
it's a comedy of errors of somebody who
Well,
does.
then
not
we would just
belong.
call that the Justin Karn story.
I was literally going to say that.
Yeah,
I was
he knew it. That's
literally-
why he beat you
You're like,
to
this
it.
is really getting to be pretty strangely autobiographical.
Right. Are they looking in my window?
Yeah.
Did I
Using
download
that app?
Oh, yeah,
Using that app,
right?
yeah.
See, it comes full circle. Was that on this show? That app or last
I
show?
can't remember.
don't
They all
know.
kind of bleed in.
I
Right,
think that
right,
was
What was that
I
app
think
again?
was it.
right. I don't know.
It was. I believe it was called "Look at Your Phone, Not Your Window," because I'm staring at you through your window and creeping on you.com.
There it is.
That's where it can be found.
Great app.
It's a great app.
Great
I'd
great
pay
app.
99 cents for it.
Well, we got to wrap things up.
So already?
Yeah. Well, we can't keep our guests that long.
Yeah, you are
so-
right. You
But
are right.
I definitely think we should touch on where they can find the board games, where they
Sure.
can, what your future events are and all that stuff.
Yep.
Anything you want to
we're
plug.
at events all the time. If you're in this area, we'll be at the Monroe Comic Fest coming up here. Pop Fest now, right?
Pop Fest, yep.
Monroe Pop Fest coming up,
Which
this
is
fall.
September
19th.
2020.
Yeah.
Not
This year,
2021.
correct.
Right.
We're also, we're at conventions pretty much every single weekend of the year all over the country. You can find our books, information on that at www.sourcepointpress.com. Games are at deepwatergaming.com. You can also check out n3art.com, which is apparel and gaming accessories and things like that, or oximedia.com. It's sort of an overview of all the brands and things that we manage.
Nice.
And Justin?
Justin?
School is called Skull and Bones Pro Wrestling and Fitness, located in Toledo, Ohio.
And how can they get a hold of you?
Carrier Pigeon,
Yeah.
MySpace,
Making a comeback.
no,
Carrier Pigeon.
yeah.
Carry, not MySpace. Carry
Right. Well, no, MySpace is hot right now. I tell all the girls, hit me up on MySpace. I don't need your digits.
No, we're
Call me.
Skull and Bones Pro Wrestling and Fitness on Facebook. If you're looking to train to be a professional wrestler, get a hold of me. Or if you're a professional wrestler looking to get better, get a hold of me, and we'll see what we can do.
I will definitely be getting a hold of you. I
Yeah.
need a little.
You're welcome
brushing
with
up
that gore thing.
anytime.
And you can reach Terry and Gary
Right,
at
at the
Terry
email.
and Gary low expectations at gmail.com.
Bam.
Very simple.
Really.
Rolls off the tongue.
Don't
does.
put in podcast.
I can spell it.
I
Want me to
feel
spell
like
it?
doing Terry and could you just not get like low expectations at gmail.com?
Nope, gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Gmail has everything gone.
Oh.
They keep-
TGLP.com?
Something. I don't
well, you
know.
weren't there, so I mean, it's
Well, I
too
misspelled
late now.
expectation. I put the P in. That'd be low pectations.
Low
Right,
expectations.
right. Like,
By the way, I knew
You
a
guys are
lady with
making it
low
seem like it's
pectations
so
I met the other day.
easy.
right.
Very low pectations on her. But
There
anyway.
it is. Right.
On that note, next week's show we have co-owner
Something tells
of
me I'm not gonna
Horror
run that
Slam
back.
Pro Wrestling, Rachel Green. She's the
Yes.
co-owner of Horror Slam Pro Wrestling.
Correct.
Yep. And we also have writer creator Casey Pierce,
Correct.
one of Travis's teams.
She's
She's
one
a-
of the original
Like I
horsemen.
said before, I think I said she's a rock star.
Oh yeah, she's a rock star.
She's a rock star, and it'd be fun. It'd be a fun podcast.
Yeah,
Right.
she's-
Right.
And maybe we'll tape it.
Yeah. Well, the first time.
Maybe we
Get
won't.
approved.
Maybe we
Right.
will.
Right. We got lucky and you guys stayed around and.
Well,
if you want
we locked the door.
Right. Well, if you want to look at any of the last show that wasn't recorded, we did go Facebook Live.
There's 5.5 minutes of Facebook Live on there.
There you go.
And that's
So,
right.
yeah, it was
And we might have
great.
talked about Roddy Piper,
Yeah,
Aruba.
Yeah.
we
Aruba,
talked
Roddy
about
Piper.
Aruba, Roddy Piper. These were all great stories. We
They're-
wish you were here for.
Right.
We were here for it.
Exactly.
If you like this one, excellent. If you didn't, then just know the first one was a lot better.
Right.
Well, I know where the studio is now, so I might just come crash when. you guys
Right.
are filming
We're here every
this
Wednesday
sometime, so.
until 5.
Yeah.
Kind of
Most
just
of
wandering around.
You're just sort of got a sleepy bag over
Yeah.
there.
I have a feeling
just been
people are
waiting the
pacing
whole
out these
time.
doors right now.
Yeah, right. They want to leave. They're
They
like,
wanna leave.
These guys get off.
They're gonna have
that
their
thing."
coats
Yeah,
on and they're
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
"Hello."
Thank you. So.
So it looks like it's taped. Looks like we're good.
All right.
Follow
Sounds
us on Facebook.
Exactly.
What's the name of our Facebook page?
You got it, brother.
Terry and
This is
Gary's
your
Low
job.
Expectations podcast.
Yes.
That's on Facebook, and subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube.
very important
for these very.
Number 15 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts.
There it is.
Gentlemen.
But
There.
can't beat that.
Exactly.
Signing off. Thanks, Travis. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Gary.
you.
Terry.
And thanks for leaving.
Yes.